Let's talk about real inner strength. The kind that's not loud, but really makes a difference. It's that quiet determination that says so much without saying a word. You've worked so hard, right? You've done everything for them. Put your own life on hold. Ignored your own needs. Just so they'd see how important you are to them. You were always there for them, ready to help at any time. Never saying no, never wanting anything back. You were incredibly kind, hoping they'd notice, be thankful and care. But how did they treat you? They acted like you were just useful, unimportant, something they didn't think about much. They took all your kindness and threw it away. They didn't respect you, treating your loyalty like it was something you had to do, not something you had to do, not something special. You tried to fix things, talking to them, explaining how you felt, maybe even begging them to see you. But every time, you just felt worse, like you didn't matter. It's like they couldn't see your worth, didn't care, or were just too used to you being there. You gave and gave, but it felt like you were disappearing. They didn't seem to notice you anymore. Didn't care about your feelings, and the more you tried, the less they seemed to care. You understood things wouldn't improve. Your only choice was silence. You disappeared, letting the commotion quiet down. You stopped contacting them. No more texts, calls, or little signs you were there. It's as if you vanished, leaving only quiet. That quiet is stronger than any words. Now they're dealing with a world without you, missing the comfort they ignored. They might pretend everything's fine, but inside, the silence hurts. Every quiet moment, every missing notification reminds them of their mistake. Privately, they're troubled by your absence. They might want to contact you, but their ego stops them, leaving them full of regret. They remember the past, seeing how they didn't value you. They might smile publicly, but they're secretly sad about losing you. This silence is your weapon, your way to take charge. Say it with me. Silence is my superpower. It's not weakness, it's strength, a powerful message. They'll notice. Like Epictetus said, someone wise once advised to first envision who you want to be, and then take the necessary steps. This time is about focusing on your own power, not theirs. So, declare your intentions and embrace them. Silence is a great strength. Keep listening, because this is just the start. I'll explain how powerful being quiet can be, how it can change everything and make them face the emptiness they feel without you. We'll explore how silence shifts the power dynamic, makes them realize the hole you filled, and leaves them regretting their loss. But before we focus too much on them, let's discuss something that might be bothering you. I know you care for them, probably still do, even after the pain and how they ignored you like a bad habit. That kind of love is hard to forget. You're probably worried they'll simply move on and your silence won't affect them. You're probably thinking that, right? The fear of being forgotten, of being ignored, is very painful. But listen, let me tell you, they're not going anywhere, not emotionally. They might pretend your silence doesn't bother them, that they're fine without you. But underneath that act, there's turmoil. They feel your absence more than they'll admit, even if they act like they don't care. This silence is having a much bigger impact than any words ever could. Basically, if someone doesn't realize your value when you're quiet, they never really appreciated you. Do you want someone who needs constant reminders of how great you are? This quiet time is a test for both of you. If they can't see your worth now, that realization is super valuable. Hold on to that. Stay strong and let them feel your absence. Trust me, they are, unless they're not. And then you have your answer. If they do miss you, they'll understand how important you were. Like this, if it helps. This isn't just about being quiet. It's about knowing your own worth. Ready for more. Now comes the part that hits them hardest, realizing you're really gone. This is where they feel your absence, where they understand you're not there. You're unavailable. They might pretend everything's fine, but inside, they feel that loss. Most of us would mess up here, wanting to check in, breaking the silence, and ruining all the progress. Don't do it. That's a mistake. Sometimes, we need to let people face the consequences of their actions. Letting them sit with their errors and loneliness isn't about being mean. It's about giving them back the control we fought to gain for ourselves. Breaking the quiet gives them that power back. This isn't about comforting them. It's about letting them truly grasp what they've lost. We shouldn't wait around, checking our phones for a sign. They miss us. Silence means taking all that energy we gave them and using it for ourselves. It means moving on, getting stronger, and shaping our own path. This is our chance to become someone who doesn't just wait, but builds their own life. If they truly care, this time apart will wake them up and help them appreciate us. Your quiet time can show people your value in new ways. This quiet is like a planted seed. It will either grow into something or die. If they really care, they'll miss you and try to reconnect. If not, this quiet time will show you the truth sooner rather than later. You don't want to be with someone who needs to be constantly reminded of your worth. As Seneca said, true friends are sad to lose you. Silence shows who really cares and who doesn't. They'll either miss you or move on, and both ways, you win. You learn who deserves your time, energy, and love. Imagine standing tall, looking ahead, not back. You're building a life on power and growth, not on someone else's approval. As you keep going, the right people, the ones who see your value, will find you. Those who care will reach out. If they don't, you'll know leaving was the right choice. Here's something to remember. I choose myself over their notice. My quiet is my power. Say it aloud. Write it down. This is only the start. We don't know yet if they truly value you or if they'll understand what they lost. But that's not important right now. This quiet is just the first step to finding out the truth. The answers will come soon. Keep going, because each step forward brings you closer to understanding. And you're about to find out. See the real strength of quiet. If they look uncaring, don't be tricked. It's fake, a show. We'll talk more about that soon, so stay with me. There's lots more to learn. Okay, let's continue. You picked quiet, and now things are starting to happen. But here's the tricky part. The I don't care mask. This part trips up many people. They act totally fine, like nothing's different, like you not being there is just a normal day. You might see them online, happy with pals, maybe even chatting like they're doing great. They'll seem relaxed, not bothered, like your quiet is just a whisper. But that uncaring look, it's not real. It's a cover, a wall they're using to make you believe they don't mind. See, when folks feel a loss of power, when they see they're not your whole world anymore, they build defenses. They're pretending, trying to show that you not being there means nothing. Think of it like poker. They're hiding their cards, not showing any problems, hoping you'll contact them first. They want you to think they're okay, but that I don't care act is just that. An act, a mask hiding how they really feel. This is when many people get trapped. Seeing them so chill makes us doubt. We think, should I talk to them? Was I wrong? Are they okay without me? But the truth is, their not caring is part of the game. It's their first defense when they feel their power slipping. They're pretending they don't need you, trying to convince both you and themselves. A wise person once said, "Hard times don't make the person, they show the person." You being gone, being quiet, is showing something in them they don't want to see. So instead of dealing with it, they wear this "I don't care" mask, hoping you'll break. You'll talk to them and give them back their feeling of safety and power. Think of it as a shield blocking their own feelings. Deep down, they're wishing and wanting you to give in first. Stay strong. The minute you crack, the second you check on them, you give them what they crave. It's like giving them control again, ending your powerful, quiet time. Right now, that quiet is affecting them, even if they don't show it. But it only works if you keep it up. If you give in, you're back at the beginning, and they know they have you. Their not caring is a fake, a thin wall they hide behind, hoping you don't see their weakness. Being away from you is bothering them more and more, even if they don't know it yet. The empty space you left is becoming real, and they're seeing that ignoring it isn't working. They're secretly worried, hoping you don't see their soft spots, their growing unease. It's a hidden fight, but it gets tougher for them each day you stay quiet. This is the real challenge for you. It's easy to think silence is just sitting around, but it's more than that. Quiet time is strongest when you're not just waiting, but getting better, making your life great instead of checking your phone. Concentrate on yourself. Every day you work on yourself. Every day you work on yourself. You get more powerful, and that's something they'll sense if they care about you. Staying quiet will bring out hidden feelings, your strength in growing. Not just waiting will be too big to miss. They'll sense it, even if they don't get it at first. Their "I don't care" act will feel fake and awkward, like clothes that don't fit. Pretending will get tough. They'll feel drawn to you, wanting to connect again. Your quietness becomes a power they can't ignore. But what if they really don't care? What if that act is all there is? Then your quiet shows the truth. If they're truly unbothered by your absence, let that be clear. That clarity is better than fake happiness. You shouldn't waste your love on someone who only cares when you're there. Like a wise man said, it's not things that upset us. It's our ideas about them. If they don't care, you're gone. Let that be their problem. Let it help you move on from someone who doesn't see your worth. So remember, focus on yourself. Let their "I don't care" be just that. Don't let it bother you or pull you back. This is your time to grow and build a life, not based on someone else's notice. If they miss you, they'll return when they're ready. If not, they've made room for someone who will appreciate you. Believe in this. I'm unshaken by their indifference. I am building my own strength and worth. Say it out loud. Write it down. Make it yours every time doubt creeps in. Remind yourself of it. You're becoming stronger, more resilient every day. And let's stay connected on this journey, because the layers only get deeper from here. This mask of indifference won't hold up forever. And soon enough, the truth will start seeing through in ways they can't ignore. There's a lot more to uncover, and we're just getting started. Now, we enter a heavier stage, the weight of regret. At first, they tried to brush it off, hide their feelings. But now your silence is hitting them, really hitting them like a wave they can't escape. They start to see the emptiness, the void you left behind, and regret sneaks in like a shadow. They can't shake. It's no longer about pretending they don't care. It's about realizing that maybe, just maybe, they've made a mistake. they can't undo. Imagine them replaying every memory, every opportunity they had to appreciate you, every moment they brushed you aside. It's like standing on a cliff, looking back at everything they took for granted. They're haunted by those choices now, and they realize with a sinking feeling that each careless action, each time they disrespected you, is costing them more than they anticipated. As the philosopher Seneca put it, every new beginning comes from some other. Beginnings end right now. They're feeling the end of what they had with you, and it's sinking in. They won't say it out loud, and they'll never admit it to anyone, but they're feeling the sting of losing something. Real regret doesn't announce itself. It seeps, and quietly, slowly, like a shadow following them, everywhere they go. And the longer you stay silent, the stronger it grows. This isn't about missing you. It's about recognizing that they had something valuable, something irreplaceable, and they let it slip through their fingers. Now, most people, when they reach this stage, try to push the regret away. They'll keep up their front, keep acting indifferent, but inside, they're feeling the weight of their actions. They're thinking about every chance they had to treat you better, to keep you close, to value you, and each memory stings. They're wrestling with their pride, their guilt, the realization that they've lost control, and that loss is more painful than they imagined. This is where you might feel sympathy. You might feel sympathy. You might feel the urge to reach out, to let them know you understand, to ease their pain. But remember, this is their journey, not yours. They need to feel this regret, this emptiness, to fully understand what they've lost. Stepping in now, even with good intentions, would only take away the weight of what they're experiencing. Regret has its place, and sometimes people need to sit with it to feel its full weight, to understand the value of what they've lost. So take a deep breath and hold on to this affirmation. I am worth more than their regret. I choose myself over anyone's temporary feelings. Say it out loud. Let it sink in. You're not here to rescue them from the consequences of their actions. Their regret is theirs to carry, and your strength is yours to build. Stay with me on this path, because we're still only halfway there. On this path, because we're still only halfway there. Powerful, but it's only the beginning of what they'll feel. Their journey doesn't stop here, and as the regret deepens, they're forced to confront even more truths. They can no longer avoid. Hold tight, because there's still so much more to come, and the journey is far from over. And if you're still here, if you felt these words resonate with your own experience, take a moment to let me know where you're at on this journey. Have you taken that leap into silence? Or are you still holding on, wrestling with doubts? Drop a keep it up in the comments if you're staying strong, because this journey is just as much about building yourself as it is about them realizing what they've lost. Stay tuned, because we're not done yet. The next phase is about facing the masks, the substitutes, and what happens when they try to fill the void you left behind. There's more to uncover, so let's keep going. All right. Let's keep moving deeper into this journey. So now they're feeling that weight of regret. But instead of facing it, instead of really sitting with that discomfort, they might try a shortcut and what do? They start looking for someone new. They're hoping to fill the gap you left, to replace that presence with a quick fix. This stage can be hard for you to witness, especially if they're flaunting it, making it seem like they've moved on effortlessly, as if you were just another chapter. They can flip through, but don't let it fool you. This isn't about moving on. It's about escaping. Imagine it like putting a bandage over a wound that runs deep. They're not healing. They're covering it up, hoping a new connection will numb that. They're looking for a distraction, for something. Anything that makes them forget, but that's all it is. A distraction. The presence of someone else can't replace the presence they lost with you, and deep down, they know it. They're using this person as a mask to avoid facing their own feelings, hoping that if they stay busy, if they keep moving, the emptiness you left won't catch up with them. This attempt to replace you is more of a coping mechanism than a real connection. They're trying to convince themselves, and maybe even you, that they're fine, that they're happy that they've moved on. But real connection isn't something you can swap out like an accessory. It's not about finding someone new, just to fill a void. When we lose something meaningful, our first instinct is often to find a substitute, something that fills the space without requiring us to change to grow. But it's like trying to fit a puzzle piece that doesn't belong. It might look all right from a distance, but up close, they can feel the emptiness it's covering up. They might go out more, post on social media, and show off their new connections as if they're living their best life. But remember, this isn't about you. It's about their inability to sit with their own discomfort. They're hiding behind this show, hoping to convince themselves that they've moved past you. But it's just that show, and the deeper truth. You can't replace something real with something temporary. They're putting up a front, hoping to shield themselves from the sting of regret. But inside, they're struggling with the emptiness that new. Faces and temporary distractions can't cure seeing this. You might start questioning your own worth. You might wonder if you meant anything at all, if it's that easy for them to replace you. But remember, this isn't a reflection of you. It's a reflection of you. It's a reflection of their fear. They're afraid of facing the void you left behind. They're afraid of the silence. So instead of confronting it, they run to someone new, hoping that person can fill a space that only you once occupied. If you need an affirmation, keep this one close. I am irreplaceable. My value cannot be duplicated or substituted. Say it with conviction. Every time doubt tries to creep in, this journey is about uncovering the truth. And right now their actions are revealing that they're not ready to face it. Some people would rather cover their pain with a not ready to face it. Some people would rather cover their pain with a temporary fix than confront the real loss. They'll hide behind someone new, hoping the emptiness will fade. But it never truly does. And if they don't come to this realization on their own, then you'll know deep down they were never capable of valuing you fully in the first place. So you hold on to that affirmation. You remind yourself that their actions don't define your worth if they're running to someone new. Let that be their journey, their coping mechanism, their distraction, because the truth of a real connection, it can't be swapped out. And every time they look to someone else to fill the gap, they're reminded of what they lost. It's like trying to cover a wound without letting it heal, and no matter how much they try to ignore it, the ache of that emptiness will follow them. As the philosopher Alan Debon once put it, people only get truly interesting when they start to rattle the bars of their cages, but instead of breaking free from the cage of their own denial, they're staying inside it, hoping that a new face will distract them from the truth. They're avoiding the discomfort, refusing to see the value of what they lost, and that's their journey to take. Not yours now. We're moving to a new phase, the unraveling. This is when things start to break down for them, and reality begins to set in. At first they thought they could keep going as if nothing changed, but without the stability you provided, without the constant reassurance of your presence, their world starts to crack you. See, you weren't just someone who showed up, you were their anchor, their constant, the foundation they unknowingly leaned on. And now that foundation is gone, and the cracks are beginning to show, it's as if they're trying to hold water in their hands, but no matter how tightly they squeeze it, slips away at this point. They may feel like they're holding things together, but beneath the surface, it's all coming undone, and the distractions they use to fill the void, they're starting to feel empty, meaningless. They're realizing that the world they created without you isn't as solid as they once thought, In the quieted moments, they start feeling that emptiness. Even more, their friendships might start feeling hollow, or their daily routines lose their meaning. There's a sense of restlessness, a lack of focus, because they no longer have that sense of stability you brought into their life. You grounded them, even if they never appreciated it, and now they're lost, floating, trying to find their footing without that anchor. This is when they start to feel the full weight of their choices, when they're forced to confront the mess they created. Their world is beginning to crumble piece by piece, and there's no distraction strong enough to keep the emptiness at bay. They start to feel as if something's missing, and that something was you. It's the quiet realization that the stability they once took for granted is gone, and they're left to face the consequences. It's easy to feel sympathy at this stage, to feel the urge to step back in and help to be that support again. But remember, this is their journey. They need to experience this unraveling, this realization, without you swooping in to save them. This is the only way. This is the only way. Weight of what they lost. Stepping in now would only take away the clarity they're starting to gain. Hold on to this affirmation. I am the stability they lost, but my strength is my own. Remind yourself of this whenever you feel the urge to help them to ease their pain. They need to face this journey alone, to experience the reality of their actions without the safety net you once provided. This is your time to grow, to stand tall, to become stronger than ever. We're getting closer to the heart of this journey, and the truth is about to reveal itself even more. There's still more to come as they continue to feel the weight of your absence, as their world continues to crumble. So hold on, because this isn't over yet. The real understanding, the full impact of what they lost, is still waiting for them, and soon enough they won't be able to ignore it. Stay tuned, because as they struggle in the silence, the final truths will begin to unfold, and their real feelings will come to the surface in ways they can't hide. Let's continue. Absolutely. Let's bring this journey to its final stages. This is where the silence becomes a force. They can no longer ignore a void that keeps growing, a realization that finally sinks in. They've tried to mask it, to run from it, to distract themselves. But now all those defenses are fading, and they're left in silence. A silence that feels like a void, a hollow space that they can't fill. Imagine it like this. They're alone, with nothing but the echo of your absence. And it's starting to become deafening. The connections they tried to create, the people they used as substitutes, the shows they put on to appear fine. None of it can touch the emptiness they feel. Now there's no escaping the ache, the awareness that they had something precious, something irreplaceable, and they let it slip away. This void, it's not the loud, dramatic kind of pain. It's a quiet, relentless ache that only deepens with time. It's a reminder every single day of what they lost. At first they thought they could just push past it, that it would fade, but now each day, without you, brings them closer to a truth they can't ignore. They're struggling in a space where your presence once was. No matter where they turn, they're met with a sense of emptiness, a reminder of what they threw away. Picture them lying awake at night, staring at the ceiling with no messages lighting up their phone, no comforting reminder of your care. It's in these quiet moments, these still pauses, where they feel it the most. It's when they're alone, stripped of all the distractions, that the ache of your absence grows strongest. They might try to cover it up, keep busy, but this silence is everywhere, following them around, a constant reminder of what they let slip through their fingers. And here's where you might feel tempted to reach out to ask if they're all right, to ease their pain, just a bit. But remember, this silence is their journey, not yours. They need to feel this void fully to understand the weight of their choices. Without you stepping and saving them from this silence, would only take away the lesson that they need to learn if they truly cared. If they truly cared, if they truly valued you. This silence is going to resonate with them. It's going to dig deep, stirring up feelings they tried to bury, feelings they can no longer ignore. If there was love there, real love, this void will push them to face it. They'll start to realize they lost something they can't find in anyone else. But if they don't care, if they can make it through this silence, unaffected, then that clarity, that understanding is a gift to you. It shows you that they were never as invested as you were, and that freedom will allow you to move forward with full confidence. Hold on to this affirmation. My silence speaks of my strength, and speaks of my strength, and worth say it every time you feel tempted to reach out to fill that void for them. Your silence isn't a weakness. It's a powerful choice. A decision to respect yourself enough to step back and let them face the reality of what they created now. We're approaching the end, the breaking point, after all the masks, all the distractions, all the attempts to fill the void. They've arrived at a moment where they can no longer ignore the truth. They face a choice, confront what they've lost, take responsibility, and grow, or stay trapped in denial, letting regret weigh them down indefinitely for some. This is where the pain becomes overwhelming. They spiral, weighed down by guilt, by the loss of something they now realize was irreplaceable. They start to see that the regret, the emptiness, the ache isn't going away. It's a permanent feeling, a constant reminder of what they let go. Every attempt to move past it only brings them back to the same realization. They lost something real, something they'll never find again. Others, however, may choose a different path. They might finally see your absence as a wake-up call, as a moment of clarity. They're hit with a realization that maybe, just maybe, they have a chance to confront what they lost, to understand where they went wrong, to become a better version of themselves. It's like reaching a fork in the road. They can either let the regret consume them or use it as a moment of growth. This is where Marcus Aurelius's words ring true. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way your silence was. Their obstacle, their wake-up call, forcing them to choose either to evolve or to remain stagnant. If they break through, it's because they've allowed themselves to learn from their mistakes. If they break down, it's because they're unwilling to face the truth of their own actions. And here's the beauty of this final stage. Whichever path they choose, you're no longer tied to it. You've done your part by stepping back, by letting them face their own reality. Their journey, their growth, or lack thereof, is no longer your responsibility. You've given them the space to confront themselves, to grow, or to stay the same. But you've grown. You've reclaimed your strength, your worth, your independence. So for this final affirmation, take a deep breath and say, I am free. Now you're stepping into a new chapter 1, where your value isn't dependent on someone else's recognition, where your strength isn't defined by anyone's approval. You've come out of this journey with clarity, confidence, and new understanding of your own worth. Whether they realize what they lost or not, you've gained something far more valuable: self, respect, strength, and independence. And as you move forward, you're free to create a life that reflects the true worth. You've always held this journey. Wasn't easy, but look at where you are now. You're stronger, wiser, and ready for a future that honors your growth. As we wrap up, take a moment to let this sink in. Your silence, your strength. Your journey has shown you what you're truly capable of. You've set boundaries that reflect your worth, and whether they wake up to what they've lost or not, you've gained something priceless. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to share it to spread the power of self-worth and resilience. And before you go, let us know in the comments, are you ready to embrace a new chapter of independence? Or are you open to new connection that truly? Reflect your value. Let us know, and remember you've come so far, and this is only the beginning. The freedom, the fulfillment you deserve is right here, ready for you to claim it.